A beautiful spring morning arrived at Dragonvale. Celeste was heading towards her arts class when Jack beat her to the front of the classroom entrance. She wondered how Jack had beat her that quickly. Maybe he did know that her first class in the morning was art, or maybe he was told where to find Celeste. Who knows how he found out? "Jack, you surprised me here. How did you know I had art this morning?" Celeste asked. "Lydia told me where to find you. She wants to remind you that her herbalism class today is canceled," Jack replied. "Canceled? Why is that? Is the teacher away or something?" Celeste asked. "I guess you could say that's the case. The teacher is out of town today, so you'll have a spare during that time," Jack answered. "Yeah, I don't have anything going on. Do you have a class after this one?" Celeste asked. "Yeah, I thought we could head after the stables after class. My mom said that there is a surprise in there. It is in one of the stalls," Jack suggested. "What's a surprise? Is it the new horse we got?" Celeste questioned, eager to know what the surprise was. "Well, that and a new arrival from one of the mares. You'll just have to come with me to see it. After art. My mom says we can head there," Jack answered. Then the two headed for art for their first class. After art class was over, Jack and Celeste headed out of the school towards the stables. A few of the horses were in the fields, grazing at the new fresh grass that had grown since the snow melted. The smell of spring was in the air, and the warmth of the spring was too much to resist. "I wonder what the new arrival, or who this new arrival is," Celeste wondered, as she and Jack approached the pasture, just a few feet away from the stable entrance. "These two are the new horses. They're Appaloosas, and their names are Spot and Apollo," Jack said, introducing the new horses to Celeste. "Do they do English or Western riding?" Celeste asked. "They do Western riding, which is a good way to try new things. You haven't rode Western, have you?" Jack questioned. "I don't think so. At least I don't think I have. I must have been young if I did. I can give Western riding a go," Celeste replied. "Great. My mom is working on an outdoor arena for the Western riding part. It is going to take a while, but with magic it takes time into building something," so Jack said, glancing over at his mother, who was still working on expanding the stable part of Dragonvale. "How long have Spawn and Apollo been here?" Celeste asked. "They arrived here last night. They seem to enjoy themselves," Jack said, watching Apollo and Spot both galloping and bucking like crazy in a playful manner. "Anyways, the new arrival is inside of the stall." Jack led Celeste inside the stable. The horses that were in their stalls were either eating, lying down, or doing what horses do. They were approached Sage's stall. The eating hay she was from the hay net on the corner of the opposite side of the door. "Why are we at Sage's stall?" Celeste asked. "We have a big surprise here. Look, on the ground," Jack said, pointed at something at the ground of Sage's stall. Celeste can see that Jack was pointed at was a foal. It was a black foal with a star on his head, followed by a snip at the muzzle. "Sage had a baby. How do we even not know that she was pregnant?" Celeste asked. "Nature is a mystery to us, Celeste. My mom says it's a colt, and he looks very handsome." As Jack said that, the foal stood up and walked towards Celeste and Jack, who were outside of Sage's stall. "Does he have a name yet?" Celeste asked, as the colt wobbled on his legs a bit, before walking up towards the stall. "His name is Nightfall. He was born in the early hours of the morning," Jack replied. "Wow, nature sure does bring in a lot of surprises, especially in the spring," Celeste said, as she and Jack both went to the pasture outside of the barn. They both grabbed the lead ropes that they had brought in Apollo and Spot inside the barn. They both decided to brush the two Appaloosas in cross ties. As the two were in the tack room, they were grabbing the western tack for the horses that they'll be riding. "Where are we going to go on this trail ride today, Jack?" Celeste asked. "Not sure. I guess we can go on one of the trails we normally take," Jack suggested, getting the bridle from the rack. Jack was going to ride Spot, while Celeste rode Apollo. They got Spot and Apollo's tack on them. Before leading them outside the barn, The mountain block was not far from the entrance of the barn, so they both had hopped on their horses before walking away from the barn. As they were getting on the trail, they saw a different path that was made about a week or so ago. Since Jack and Celeste have never been on that trail, they have both decided to take that trail, since it was all new to them. "I've never been on this trail before. It looks very different," Celeste said, looking around her surroundings. "It sure looks different. I'm assuming that one of the students had been making this path for a while," Jack replied, seeing as the trail kept going through the forest. "I wonder what will be on the other side of the forest," Celeste wondered. Spot and Apollo walked through the trail, checking out their surroundings. "Good thing it isn't raining. I'm glad to be out on this beautiful weather," Jack said, as he and Celeste could hear the stream nearby. "I could hear something. It sounds like a stream nearby," Celeste stated. "I hear it too. Let's go check it out," Jack replied. He and Celeste rode their horses, following the sounds of the stream while on the trail. By the time they came to a clearing, there was a beautiful sight in front of them. There was a garden-like area where a stream led to a pond, where there were animals drinking from the stream and a pond, and there was a waterfall, a small one. They got closer to the pond and let the horses drink from it. Celeste managed to get in her bag and got off of her horse. Then she found a violet growing not far from the pond. "This flower is nice, perfect for my herbalism class." Celeste picked up the flower and then put it in her bag. "This place I discovered a few days ago. I thought you would like it," Jack stated, hoping that his girlfriend would like it. "It's a nice area. When did you last come here before me?" Celeste questioned. "I thought you said you never took this path, just because I never have until now." "I wanted to surprise you, that's all. Shall we spend some time here before heading back?" Jack asked, only to have Celeste peck a kiss on his cheek before running off into the forest. Jack laughed as he started to chase after Celeste, as the two of them spent time together in the woods for the remainder of the day.